How y'all doing? How y'all feel? I hope all is well. Welcome to the first episode of Fireside with Lance. I'm your host, Lance Parker. I invite you to join me on a journey through the tapestry of my own life and the winding path that led me here to Hull. You see, my story begins in the vibrant streets of New York City, the South Bronx to be exact. Born and raised amidst the hustle and bustle of the Big Apple. I grew up surrounded by the rich tapestry of my Jamaican and South Carolinian roots. My roots run deep, tracing back to the Gullah Geechee people of South Carolina, a resilient community with a history as old as America itself. And on the other side of the coin, my grandfather's tales of Jamaica painted a vivid picture of resistance and resilience in the face of adversity. It was in the Bronx, amidst the concrete jungle where dreams are made of, that I found my true passion, acting. Inspired by my Jamaican grandfather and fueled by the vibrant energy of the city, I embarked on a journey into the world of performance. From humble beginnings at Trader Joe's to the bright lights of music videos and web series, I honed my craft amidst the chaos of city life. And yet, through the hustle and bustle, a yearning for knowledge tugged my soul, a thirst for understanding the complexities of history and culture. Also, dear viewers, I found myself here in Hull, a city steeped in history and tradition, yet brimming with untold stories and hidden gems. Drawn by the allure of the Wilberforce Institute for Slavery and Emancipation, I embarked on a new chapter in my journey, a pursuit of knowledge and truth. But Hull, as I soon discovered, is more than just a stop along the way. It's a community, a melting pot of ideas, and voices waiting to be heard. And that, my friends, is why I embarked on this endeavor. To shine a spotlight on the creators and visionaries who call this city home. So join me, won't you? Let us journey together through the experiences that enlighten us, that mold us, that unite us. Welcome to Fireside with Lance. So, story time. A bit about myself. I honestly don't know where to begin. I come from a big family. My mom has about 8 siblings. Got like loads of cousins. I spent my childhood practically back and forth between New York and the Carolinas. So even though I'm a New Yorker, I'd also think that I'm a Southern boy as well. Bit of a Southern boy. One of my most vivid memories of my entire life would be the story of my dog Buddy. Well, my grandma's dog Buddy. All right, this is like 1999, by the way. We all loved the dog. He was one of those like Beethoven dogs, that Beethoven Disney series, film or whatever. We was out playing with the dog outside in North Carolina somewhere. And I turned my head for like 1 second. And then all I hear is, Buddy, no! And we all look and Buddy got hit by a car. It was so sad. It was so sad. We all love that dog so much. We all love that dog. But that's like one of the most like earliest memories of my entire life. It's just like, wow. Anyway, the point I'm trying to say is I was really close to my family, still close to them, close to all my family members, really. We're gonna cut, because you guys. Anyway, I consider myself a really family-oriented person. I still keep in contact with all my cousins. Love them dearly. And my aunties, I was raised by my mom and all her sisters. So yeah, just a real tight-knit family. I will say though, I'm also close to my grandfather as well. I spent a lot of time with him. And what brought me closer to my interest in history was the stories he would tell me about Jamaica, because he was from Jamaica, as I mentioned earlier. And he told me a story about the Maroons, these group of people during colonial Jamaica, so Jamaica's slavery days, were these group of people who resisted their own enslavement and fought against British colonialism. And, that story that he told me, it stuck with me to this day, because, he told me his father was a Maroon, so I'm, by way, him, a descendant of Maroons. And it's no coincidence that I come to do a PhD on the Maroons here in Hull at the Wilberforce Institute for Slavery and Emancipation. It's just one of those things that it's really interesting how much of an impact my grandfather had on me. So yeah, that, and also Also, I'm a saxophonist. I taught myself the saxophone during the pandemic. So, trapped March 2020 in a room where we can't go nowhere. I'm not going crazy. I'm gonna learn a skill or something. So I taught myself the saxophone. But it was always something I always wanted to do because my grandfather also played the saxophone, and I listened to his music. He plays something called calypso. He really made an impact on my life.
So would you say your grandfather was a big influence on on the things that you wanted to do?
Absolutely. As far as, musically, yes, music was definitely something that he had an impact on because, we used to go through all of his cassettes and his vinyls and John Coltrane, Miles Davis. He even put me onto some calypso that he used to listen to. So calypso is a Caribbean genre. It's not quite jazz, but it's old Caribbean, so right before reggae. Spending a lot of time with him and going through all those cassettes, listening to Charlie Parker, the Bird, they call him. He played a big role in why I love music and why I love hanging out with musicians, because most of my friends are musicians. Yeah, he played a role in my passion for history and for my passion in music. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's to my favorite segment of my show, Album of the Month. Now, you see, music is something that motivates you, that inspires you, that gets you out of bed, that helps you go to the gym or taking a walk. Wherever you are in the world, music speaks to you, right? It feeds your soul, and that's what each and every one of us is looking for when we listen to music. So, one of the albums, that helped me get through an ordeal, that sort of put me in a mood, was Giveon's album, Give or Take. Now, there are songs in that album that really spoke to me word from word, like Let Me Go or Make You Mine. I felt as if Giveon was writing those songs for me in my situation as I was going through a breakup 5 months ago. It's one of those things where I've learned that in life, you move on no matter what you're going through. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's to Giveon's Give or Take.
So Lance, you're a 90s baby.
I am. Correct? Yes, correct.
Tell us a little bit about growing up in New York in the 90s.
Well, you see, that's the thing. That part I don't remember too much. I remember early 2000s New York. Yes. Now that is a bit of nostalgia, i.e. for a lot of good reasons and a lot of bad reasons. I'll share a good one first. Spider-Man 1, right? Tobey Maguire. I literally went to the movie theaters to see that film. It was one of my favorite films. When it came out on VHS, I probably played that movie on repeat. Rewind, fast forward, VHS. Also, the PlayStation 1, right? That's my first console. Tekken. Love Tekken. Oh, man. And there was another game called Ape Escape that I was crazy about. And I guess a negative, which is also slightly traumatic, was I was in New York for 9/11. I remember it like yesterday. I was actually in school, and they let us out early, and I wasn't necessarily sure why or what was going on. But when I got outside, the city was literally covered in fog, and I didn't necessarily got a recollection of what was going on until I got home and saw it on the news. It was a bit traumatic, but yeah, no, that I remember like yesterday as well. I also remember going to the park. I was raised by a lot of aunts, right? It's just I was raised by women, so like it's a lot of women in my life. And my grandma's sister, I used to live with her at the time. She used to take me to the park right from where we used to live. I remember that as well. I loved playing on swings and slides and, sand pits, all that jazz.
Coming from New York, in your first week in Hull, do us a bit of a comparison.
Okay. Massive. So New York is a major metropolitan city, right? Imagine living in a place where, like, literally all cultures, all people of all walks of life live and literally live on top of each other. Just a massive city with everything you need. Never really closes, you know, stores 24/7. We call stores bodegas, by the way. Bodegas 24/7. You know, nothing really closes. Everything is almost at your convenience, except for the part that the city is really gruesome at times. So yeah, coming from a major metropolitan city and then coming to Hull was a drastic change because like Hull's way of life is a bit more slower paced in my opinion. You know, things close down early and stuff like that. But I'll tell you this, it's quite funny. I was flying in from New York to London, and as an American, my perception of English people were Londoners, really. I mean, even to this day, when I call my family members, they ask me, how's London? And I tell them I don't know. So I fly from New York to London, right? And I'm like, okay, this is my perception. It's a major metropolitan city. This is the accent I hear on TV. Good, cool. I get on the train, Hull train, from London, King's Cross, all the way to Hull. Culture shock instantly. I mean, the first person that spoke to me, I did not know what she was saying to me. She said, "You all right, mate?" Like, I can't even do the accent. So yeah, no, it was definitely a culture shock. Yeah.
Cool. And cut.